Hey guys, Jeff here with Ghost Knight Gaming, and as you can see from where I am right now, I am currently in the process of actually filling my lava tunnel. So I've already done the whole putting the glass in thing, as you can see by the way the glass is all set up. So now all I got to do is find a way to fill this tunnel with tons of lava. So you're going to get to see the fun effect and advantage of being indestructible, as I'm going to go about pouring tons and tons of lava into these tunnel areas, and I got to make sure I get enough coverage is half my dilemma. Because I got to make sure that when it gets to places like here, it looks like it's fully covered, which it is. So now I only have a little bit left to fill in. And I gotta do it very carefully. Yeah, I can't see anything. Yeah, I gotta be careful with my tunnel, because I want to be able to get out after. Yeah. So now, that should be the last bit I need to place. So if I take a look, as you can see, success. Now, the great thing about this also is that it is fully filled in. So now all I got to do is do this. Now, in a in a non-creative situation, if you want to create a similar effect, you're going to have to take a little bit more time and be considerably more cautious about how you do this, for several obvious reasons. One, you're not immune to fire, so burning to death would be bad. It's kind of a neat effect, eh? So not being immune to fire means that you have to do this a little bit more creatively. So you're going to have to probably spend a lot more time on prep to set up. So you're going to want to, you'd probably actually, to do the same thing that I did just here, is you want to basically do what I did there, build that little thing, but you're going to build it way up and over and above. Obviously, it's going to be hidden once the lava is placed because it's completely opaque. But you go and you put that in, and you build up over top, you climb over top of where you're going to work, and you just basically build trenches to work into. So once your trenches are placed, you place everything, and you work across, and basically build yourself scaffolding as you work. And then once you're done, you work your way out of your tunnel, and you close up your tunnel, just like I did there. Same effect, but on a safer level for somebody that isn't playing in creative mode and is trying to do this in survival. So how effect, same results. So as you can see, that looks pretty cool, I'd like to say. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's an interesting way to come into our grand tower. So all of it after that point will be presentation here, and that'll be figuring out a way to put grand sconces or something like that at the entryway to better, highlight this tower that we're actually going to get into. So now I've got a couple of options of things I can do right now. Obviously I can go back and keep working on these walls, which I'm going to have to do at some point here, so that'll probably be in a relatively near future thing. But the other thing that's going to happen is that now that tunnel, which is going this way, is going to have to come out somewhere. Now I could just have it and wind my way up and just come out somewhere over here. But I want this tower to once again, it's a grand project. So, I'm going to want it to come from somewhere interesting. How I build it and what I do, I haven't decided quite yet. But the tunnel is gonna lead off. It may have other stuff in that tunnel as I build it. Obviously, that'll be a project for a relatively near future. And somewhere along that lines, I'm going to work on that tower. Well, it's going to be hilarious if he falls in that hole. Just hilarious. Because that's a long way down. That's I've done some math, and I'm not going to share the math yet until I finish the base of the tower. But I've been doing some math on how many obsidian blocks, if you wanted to sit there and turn around and do exactly what I just did here. And actually, it was very lucky on this build. I only ended up having one spray of water come out while I was digging out this hole. So from a playing perspective, and you wouldn't be able to go as low down as I can. You'd have to go, because in creative mode you can actually break a couple of levels of the bedrock. other than when you get the base last 2. Or the last 1 base ground level. But so you'd be a couple levels higher, so it wouldn't be quite as high or quite as low down. But in this particular case, you could actually dig all the way down with no problem. And other than the amount of time it would take to do, and you would have a lot of material to work with for later building, it's the obsidian side of it. And because I'm making this completely out of obsidian, that is quite the process, considering there's only 2 ways to really get obsidian: to find it naturally, where water and base lava blocks have been found, or make it yourself. And there's a couple of ways to. Oh my gosh, this drop just makes my stomach lurch every time. I do this to myself. But if you were to take a base lava spot, so you pour out lava, and you could go and collect lava in buckets. So first off, you need a ton of buckets. Usually about 7, because you can only do a little bit, give or take at a time. You need buckets, so you need a bunch of iron. You need diamond, because the only way to mine obsidian and actually keep it is diamond pickaxes. That's a lot of diamond, especially once I tell you how much obsidian it takes just to build the lower part of this tower. And then you need to build yourself a little trench. Then you need a bucket of water. You only need 1 bucket of water, because that'll work. And maybe on creative mode, or when I go to survival mode, I'll actually show you guys the process that goes into building these, building a lava trench to make obsidian. But considering how long it took me to make when I had been going towards that years ago, I had been going towards building a ton of. I'll do that first. But I had started doing that, and the amount of work it took to make just like maybe 100, 200 obsidian was obscene amount of effort to do. And yeah, the amount you'd need for this project is probably several hundred times that. Especially if you were to go from base ground down here, where I start, all the way to the highest point. The highest point is fairly high up. Now it's raining in my tower. My tower is raining. That's okay. All the lava's over here safe. So yeah, there's a lot going into trying to, if you were to try to do this. Now, if you were to do this with regular materials, it's still going to take forever, not going to lie. I mean, it's going to take a while just to do it, how I'm doing. Doing this in creative mode, where I have the advantage of unlimited materials, I can fly, I'm indestructible, all these things that make this project go considerably faster. That's, that kind of thing. Like, I've got a creative mode city I was working on years ago, and I'd love to get back to it, but the amount of work it would take to go back and do what I had planned to do, because I kind of don't half-ass these little crazy projects I have, and that project actually entailed me completely strip mining an entire section of the map, and this was Xbox 360, pre like a lot of updates, so the maps weren't very big compared to the PC map at the time. The Xbox One or PlayStation 4 map at this point is huge by comparison, and but now we're so I took up a huge chunk, almost I'd say about an eighth or a sixth of the full map was this city that I was planning to build, and I had built most of the wall, and the wall was 50 feet high, or 50 blocks high. So, and that's less than this tower here, but the 50 blocks I built by hand in survival mode. Now, I was on peaceful, so I wasn't dealing with enemies. Which probably would have added, other than when I needed, was trying to get dynamite or gunpowder and stuff, I'd go and fight minions. But, the whole process of actually strip mining there, and I haven't finished strip mining it. I haven't finished leveling it out to the level I want to build this city yet. Because even with I had 1 or 2 extra people helping me, but even with us working on this, this is a project that at the time I think we'd probably put about 40 or 50 hours into, and we were only halfway done leveling the terrain. Only half. I had built the wall because I had tons of material. I'd already started building buildings. So there's a small dock, and there's storage buildings, and a couple other buildings just off one corner of it. There's a gate that's been built. I started paving and placing cobblestone where I want some of the roads to be. Some of them. But the project itself is huge, and I think at some point I'm going to be unlazy, and I'm going to transfer that to my Xbox One. And I'm going to go back and maybe either try to finish it. I'm going to show you guys what I've done, and you guys get a chance to see some of the early craziness of stuff I do. While I sit here and build up a ginormous wall. So yeah, some of my projects have been pretty grand. Now, some of the stuff I've done didn't survive updates. They glitched or whatever, and I can't get them. I started building a pillared city in the sky, you know, all Final Fantasy VII Midgard side of thing. I did a fair chunk of it. I started putting up the buildings in there, and this was all before some of the updates that gave more upper air surface and a whole lot of different materials and building things and redstone devices. So it's very, very early Xbox 360 release of Minecraft that some of these projects were done, and I don't think creative mode had been released yet at that time either. So there's even that. There was no creative mode. I was doing it all in survival. There's no way I could have done it in creative. Creative came later, and I started experimenting with some stuff that I did do for the city. Like I said, I do at some point want to show you guys that. So I'm going to try to get that in a situation where I can show you guys some of the craziness I have done so far. I mean, now some of the projects I've seen on online or whatever, some of the things that other people have done, they're going to far outstrip anything I'm doing. As far as I think, some of these people have done some amazing stuff, and they just have a level of creativeness that even I don't even think about at times. You know, I've got these grand ideas. So this tower is going to be relatively plain compared to some of the stuff that some of these people have built. But I don't know. We'll see how this turns out. See what creativity sparks in me as I slowly work my way through this tower for you guys to check out. And this will just be one of many projects that this particular map is probably going to be adorned with. So I'm going to leave you guys with the lurching feeling of me going up and down, working on these walls as I start working on it. So I want to get this part closer to finished. Because once the outer tower is done, I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna start doing on the inside. So, and there's a fair bit I want to do. And you'll probably see some of the more early design ideas of how this tower is going to look. Because I have a couple of interesting things I may do with certain towers, parts of the tower, just to make it more interesting. Alright, so that one last leap. Alright, so we're going to start working at this point, and I will see you guys again next time. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel, check out some of my other stuff, give me a comment on what you think so far, and let me know what the craziest Minecraft thing you've seen is. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys again next time. Have fun, guys. Keep gaming.